Ladies and gents and everyone in between, welcome to It Takes a Village, where we sit down with candidates from all over the country to discuss a wide range of issues brought by you, the viewer. I am your charming and furious host, Political Jess, and I'm not going anywhere. Before we get started, though, let's go over some guidelines. If you have a question for our grassroots candidate, please request up. You will be allowed one question and one follow-up, and our guest will have 2 minutes. I don't really time you. To answer. 18 plus only, minor safety, stick to current events, and remember, we are not a debate stage. There's no shortage of amazing creators on this app where you can do that, and this ain't it, fam. Please be respectful of these amazing people who are working to make our country work for all of us. Failure to do so will result in immediate ejection. Also, while we are yapping, please be tapping and share out the live. This helps push out our live to the FYP, gets more eyes onto these candidates who desperately need it. Also, there are some little trinkets in the hey, Rochelle. There are some little trinkets in the subsection, so click the little heart at the top of the page if you are not subscribed, and subscribe. There's some neat, nifty little stickers in there, maybe even one for our candidate that you can use at your leisure. Also, I know that it is incredibly tempting to gift and shower these amazing candidates with love through TikTok. But this app does take quite a large percentage when you do that. And though we enjoy them on the show, it definitely helps us to do what we do. If you plan on gifting anything to our candidates, please just go over to their website, which is right here, boop, and donate directly to them. It gets them a bigger cut of the cheese, so to speak. Okay? So speaking of our guest tonight, he comes to us from the great, or not so great lately, state of Texas, running for Congress's 31st Congressional District. Please give a warm and wonderful welcome to Justin Early. Yay!
Thank you.
Accolades. Okay, so before we get started and take questions from the village people, working title only, let's get things started with a little icebreaker.
Okay.
If you will. So you've heard of the straw that broke the camel's back, but we are not being hit with straws. We are being hit with the whole damn camel. The whole damn camel in the face all the time, constantly. So what is the thing, the camel that broke your back that inspired you to run? And if you could also give us kind of a brief synopsis of who you are.
Yeah, that's great and great question. So, it was a number of camels. There was lots of different camels specifically. Um, After the election of last year, let me go back a little bit further. The first election of Donald Trump, I had a lot of faith in humanity that would not happen. So it happened, and I said, hey, it can't be that bad. We've survived worse. Then you come around to 2024. I did everything I could to get the word out to the people I knew, communicate as much as I could. And then we have the result that we had. And I went kind of into a deep funk and depression, like a lot of people who were very hopeful. And then we started getting into January and February, and just the madness kept happening. And I saw that the point of the madness was to distract us from what actually was happening. And one of the things in the distraction was during the Doge cuts and all that stuff. I'm a veteran, and my parents are both veterans as well. And my parents receive almost 80% of their income, because they're both retired, through the government. And one of the things they were talking about cutting was VA health benefits and VA benefits and Social Security benefits. And I thought, this is the promise that we've given Americans. This is what we've told people that you can do. You give all your time. And even if we go the cynical route of saying you learn for 20 years, you work for 40, and you get 5 to 10 for yourself. Even if we go the cynical route, don't touch that last little bit. Leave that alone. There's more than enough in this country. This country is a country of abundance, and there's no reason to take from those who have the least to give to those who have the most. So during that rhetoric and all those things that were going on, I finally said, why are we standing up to this? This is not who we are. This is not our national identity. This is not what I defended my country for. This is not what my parents defended my country for. And actually, my children are in the military as well. I have a daughter who completed her service in the National Guard, and I have a son who's in basic training right now at this moment. And so this is not what we signed up to defend our country for. And the best way I knew to help my country was for service. So I've done a lot of other things in the political realm. Nothing as big as this is my first elected office, but I've done things in the party chair, and the party supported the party, supported all the different candidates who come in through the state. And so I said, you know what? After so much time, and one of the biggest ones I did also was I worked for a congressional candidate up in where I lived in Tarrant County in Fort Worth. And I learned a lot about the process. And what I found out was the process he had was great, but his candidacy as himself as a candidate didn't reach out to the voters. And I said, you know, one of the great things that I have the ability to do is to communicate with people and share my ideas and get them to understand what I'm trying to do. And so I took all of that and said, you know what, I have a why and a purpose. I have the ability. Let me take these blessings and do with it. And so that's why I'm here.
You would be surprised how many people say the election was the catalyst that just shot them into, like, a lot of people, just like you, they never thought they would be running for political office. Like, that's a weird thing to do, but they did. Like, I don't know, maybe that's one of the good things that we can give to Donald Trump. I don't want to give him any credit for anything. He's kind of a slime ball, but you know, if we're gonna give him any sort of credit, it's that he is mobilizing people.
Absolutely.
So,
and with the misinformation and disinformation, we've got so many things on both sides to bring people up and do well. And I think even with people who voted for him, or people who were, you know, kind of their rose-colored glasses are getting tinted and foggy now, those of us who are clear-eyed and ready to go and do work, we can bring them all along. And I think this is a great time to get people involved in the process.
And it's great too, because more and more people every single day are like starting to realize that maybe they've been tricked.
Lied to, specifically.
Yes.
Lied to. So
yes. So, okay. I would encourage everybody here, not right now, obviously, because the show is going on, but definitely go check out JustinEarly.com. VoteJustinEarly.com. That's it, right?
VoteJustinEarly.com, yes.
VoteJustinEarly.com. He's got a fantastic website I've spent a ton of time on, and it outlines all of the policies and everything. I do need to ask you really quick before we bring Susu up. How do you feel about AIPAC money?
I will not take AIPAC money. That is not something I will do. I will not stand by a country that is funding a genocide, and I will stand both feet firmly on the ground to say I will not take that money.
10 toes down.
Yes, ma'am. It's tough to run, and everybody says they need all the dollars they can get, but all money ain't good money, and I'm not taking it. So
love it. Hey, Susu, thanks for coming up.
Hey, is my mic on? Yeah.
Your mic is on. We can hear you just great.
Good. I think, reflecting on the recent news and one of those recent executive orders about fascism being Antifa being a domestic terrorist
organization
group. Yeah. And wondering what your take is on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of levels to this, and layers, we'll say. Layers or levels, however you want to frame it. On the surface, Antifa, that's not even an organization. What are you talking about, right? And so we can't take that attitude. It is a interesting statement, but we can't take that attitude, because activities that they then deem anti-fascist or deem associated with Antifa will then become political terrorism, or whatever they want to call it, right? Stephen Miller himself said, even calling out the Trump administration as being authoritarianism is in itself inciting violence and terrorism. And so with that attitude and that mentality, they can use then the executive order and say, hey, you are participating in something that we have deemed incorrect or not right. I don't even, because it's not illegal, because everything we're doing is legal. But they're going to have some extra legal terminology around these things. So the executive order is to give them leeway in order to stamp down free speech, to stamp down free assembly, to stamp down anything that they deem that is that's honestly against the Constitution, that does not support them in their efforts in continuing their authoritarian regime. Right now, we have a system, we call it democracy. It's not democracy truly, because what we're really living in is competitive authoritarianism, where we have semblance of democracy. We still vote on things, but the parties in power are continuing to change and move the goalpost as it continues on. And so while it's getting harder and harder for them, and we're getting more mobilized, they know if the next election comes around, they have to do more in order to prevent us from, coming up and flipping the tables and flipping Texas. So that's why they're going to take every action that we do, such as the No Kings March on October 18th. They're going to deem that as an Antifa organization or Antifa activities, right? So they're trying to scare people to not speak up and to not go out. So my thoughts on that is, it's the subtext that they're trying to prevent us from doing the things that will actually make and keep our democracy great.
So I guess one of the things I'm concerned about is, for instance, the No King protest coming up in October. I immediately went to, they're trying to prevent it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me say more of us than ever have to go out.
Yes, ma'am.
What concerns me is, because of the way he's deploying National Guard, is that he will say, okay, this is an Antifa thing, and try to use the National Guard against us.
Mm-hmm. I think the conversation is that specifically they want us concerned that the National Guard will go in and prevent us from doing these things. However, it's not legal for them to do that, right? And second to that,
he does a lot of things that aren't legal.
Correct. I mean, this sounds terrible, but they can't arrest us all, right? They cannot arrest us all. And the people who are actually being asked to do these things, they are not 100% on whatever he says. He sits in his, golden throne behind whatever doors saying, thou shalt do. And the people who are having to execute those things have choices as well. An illegal order or unlawful order is still an unlawful order. And my children, I was in the military. My son is in basic training right now. And I kid you not, before he left, I told him, I said, son, an unlawful order is an unlawful order. And they'll tell you got to do it right now. They'll make you do something else if you don't do it. But 6 months, if you do end up doing the unlawful order, 6 months later, you are just as culpable as everybody else. You will be prosecuted like everybody else. And so these military members understand they have they are concerned as well for their jobs, their livelihoods, and their lives, because they're being asked to do things that are not legal. And I believe that the rhetoric is not necessarily that's going to happen. I believe it's more of a, maybe you shouldn't go because maybe it does happen. Some people have told me maybe we'll send the National Guard. I don't know. And that confusion right there drives the conversation and prevents us from going out. So I do believe we should all go out.
Well,
we
not
should
me.
get 20 million people. And so, I'm sorry, say again?
I said, not me. I will
Yes,
go.
ma'am. I understand. And there's no harm in that, right? You can do that. You can protest many different ways. You don't have to be out in the streets with everybody else. You can choose to protest with your money, where you put your money. You can choose to protest by where you put your time. And so understand that because the people are in the streets and you're not there, I think if you still feel a part of it, you can actually participate in as well.
Yeah. All right, Jess, I know I've asked my follow-up question, so I'll step down, but I'm going to put another question in the chat.
You can ask it. There's nobody else waiting, so you can go ahead and, yep. You get
I guess
special
what I'm
treatment,
curious
my
about,
dear.
having been military, is what is your take on this gathering of generals?
I think that's also to this No Kings March conversation, right? I believe that in order to execute the military in the way that they have imagined, they need to get everybody on board and saying this is what we need to do. But the problem is the military is such a large organization and entity. A lot of those generals know the law. They know what they can and cannot do and what is and is not legal. And so even when the National Guard was deployed to the cities, their scope was so limited. That's why you saw pictures of them cleaning up the grass and walking the streets. Mm-hmm. They were not engaging with people because that is not within their mission. So the conversation is that the gathering of the generals is to get those who are loyal to do those things. But it is such a large organization. I do not believe, I am an optimist, but I do not think the generals will go along with that. And there's not a coup coming, but there will definitely be a stoppage of this is not happening. This is not going to happen here on our soil. And I believe that's why he pulled everybody to him.
There's a lot of conjecture that they're going to ask the military to pledge a loyalty to the president.
Yeah, I mean, there is the oath is to the Constitution.
Right.
It's not to the president. And so if we have so many impeachable offenses that this man has done already,
Hmm.
and we have seen what happened to Health and Human Services with RFK Jr. and his, what he's been doing, his bumbling. They pulled him back into Congress, and they're looking at removing him from that position. Okay. Same thing goes for Hegseth. You can only go so far until you are no longer doing the job and you're ineffective. And so they're trying anything they can do in order to make that happen. I do not think that it's going to execute the way they want it to. I believe that they're going to try, and unless they fire everybody, they're not going to have a military left. There's hundreds of thousands of people in the military, and you can't tell me that they're going to get rid of everybody who is loyal or disloyal, to the president. It's not realistic.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Susu. All right, our next guest is going to be coming up momentarily. Mr. Bacon, hello, sir.
Oh, hello. How you
Oh,
doing?
hello.
I'm gonna introduce myself. 46, Kamala Harris. See him. I was an immigrant, now a citizen, and a disabled
Congratulations.
person. And I want to ask you, since you're running, what will you propose propose a bill or anything to protect disabled community in the workplace and equality for our salary and our work hours? Because I'm in my state, because I'm in California, I only can work a certain numbers of hours, like 20 hours a week. Can because what I lose off my benefits and stuff like that, especially Medicaid and Medicare. What will you propose to our legislation to protect disabled community? And I wish that they can fair equality for our disabled to have fair rate and fair hours for disabled like myself.
Yes, sir. So you were limited to 20 hours a week because you are on a state-run program that limits you to 20 hours a week. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. But being limited to 20 hours a week, you don't have enough money to live in the place that you live. And so one of the things, and I'll say one, I broke my policies down to 3 buckets, and bucket number 1 is really large, but it takes care of the people. It's just, what are we doing for people? And that's food, that's housing, that's education, that's jobs, and that's healthcare, right? And so all those things, we have gotten to the point in this country where we have more than enough to provide for those who need. And so I believe the government should be a guaranteed customer. And by that I mean, if we have the need to take care of you as a government, then we should take private businesses to say, hey, I have a guaranteed customer for you to give this person a home. The government will then pay for your home based upon your status of what you are, or your disability, or whatever you can do. You can still earn your 20 hours a week because that is your choice and that's what you can need to do. But instead of having capitalism run on wherever they can make the most money, let's give them the most customers and have the government be a customer of that. And I'm sorry, be the guaranteed customer. And so there, probably your programs, you will have these necessities taken care of. We talk about universal health care and doing that. There's already universal health care in the United States. We have it for politicians. We have it for the military. We have it for certain, areas and individuals. We need to expand those programs to cover everybody else. So it's not impossible. And so boom, right there, we can take care of your health and your welfare of that point. Housing, there's adequate housing in the United States. We have corporations who buy up millions of houses, thousands of houses, and they're owning them and sitting on them in order to make a profit one day. Well, if we turn the government into a guaranteed customer, let's pull that out of there. You've made an investment. We can understand that. We're not going to take money away from people, though I'd probably like to, but that's not here nor there. Then we say, hey, look, as a guaranteed customer, we will then guarantee that you have a place to live because of your status and where you are. And this is a model we can do across the entire spectrum of regardless who you are. We talk about things like universal basic income and all these things because they're avenues in order to bring yourself out of where you're at and to do something with your life, to have a fulfilling life. We can do that by different programs all around. So I would love to help and work with people in Congress in order to build out these programs so that we have the adequate necessities taken care of for people. That way you can still do what you want to do in your private time, but then have those necessities handled.
Okay, thank you. And follow up question, because you live in Texas, right? Uh,
Yes, sir.
what will you propose for immigration reform or immigration? Because what do you call this? You live in Greg Abbott's, I believe.
Yes, sir. Greg Abbott.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So
Voldemort.
what will you propose to your state and how to treat migrants? Because
Yes, sir.
sorry to tell you, your state is kind of what you call this out of control of what you call this treating immigrants. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying
No,
that.
sir. I mean, I'll tell. We are. There are a lot of racist policies in the state of Texas that are specifically meant to harm those who come into this country. And one of the things I had said the other night to somebody is, we always say things silly. Not say silly. We always say things that like, I'll do anything for my kids. But then you have somebody who literally does the absolute most, going across land and sea and harsh conditions, gave every last dime, and put nothing on their backs but exactly their necessities. And then they get here and we put them in a cage. That is an atrocity for a civilized society. That is an atrocity for a developed country, right? The whole history of the United States is built upon immigrants coming in. The flip side of that, they've always been exploited in some way. We can take, because of the abundance we have, we can break that cycle of exploitation and still welcome people to have them, have a fulfilling life. A lot of these people who come, they create small businesses. They work for small businesses. They send money back home. That is the biggest, um, I wouldn't say welfare. It's not welfare. That is the biggest State Department program I think we have, by reaching across to other countries by saying, hey, if you come to us for the opportunity that we have, we can enrich your country. Instead of giving them Coca-Cola and McDonald's, let's allow you to take labor, or let's allow you to come here and do something if you choose to, and then you can send that money back home. If that is the direction you want to do, that means more people in here. That means more opportunity for people who live here. That's more houses for us to build and do things. That's more customers. I mean, we love the diversity of this country, and even people who talk against the diversity, I guarantee you they had something that was diverse 2 days ago, and they're thankful for that. So let's recognize that and actually focus on that. The policy specific on we need to do on these things is, we need to change DACA, because it's a 2-year revolving door that you can change at any time. We absolutely need to put more money into immigration judges. We need to put more money into translators and things. We talk about a economy that needs more jobs and more businesses. We have a huge hole right here that we can plug and fill. The final point I want to put on this is, and I know I'm talking too long, final point I want to put on this is, I do believe that it's a failure society. We have billionaires, but these billionaires get a lot of tax cuts and a lot of tax breaks. And so if you want a tax cut and a tax break, instead of doing that way, I will ask that I would have, instead of also the government being a guaranteed customer, there'll be a list of items and things that the country needs. And if you want a tax break, fund this thing over here. Pick one. I don't care which one. Pick one. We need libraries in rural Nebraska. We need additional translators on the border in order to bring people who are help people come here legally, right? Fund that for the government, and then you can get your tax break in what you're trying to do. Put your name on something that you can actually be proud of, and then we can talk from there. And I believe if we talk in their language by giving them something they want to do, it would help everybody around.
That's such a great idea.
Thank you very much, and
You're
good
very
luck
welcome.
with your race. And I hope you win. And
Thank you.
yeah, like you said, you're not taking any money from the big donors, and
No,
I'm
sir.
proud of that. And I'm so thankful that you're not one of those idiots that take money from billionaires and millionaires. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. I'll just finish off by saying, the only thing I hate worse than a liar is a grifter, and that's not me, and I'll never do that. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Thank you, Bacon. Awesome. That was such a great question, Bacon. And It's such a great idea too. I don't know why more people aren't talking about that. It feels like that's pretty common sense to me.
I think the
anyway.
Rockefellers did it. How many libraries did they build up? How many, concert houses and halls? Why not? Right?
Why not?
And if we pick a list and say, here's all the things this country needs. I don't care what you do, just pick one.
Pick
you
one.
know,
Community centers all over the place.
all over
Like,
the place. Let's do it.
just
Vertical farms. Let's do it. Pick one. Just
yeah,
do
just
it.
sprinkle it on like,
Yeah.
like salt, just all over the place. I love
Correct.
it.
We don't need a rocket for space tourism, but what we do need is, do that instead.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this idea. So, let me ask you something a little more personal while we're waiting for our next question to come up. You chose to enlist in the Army right after high school.
Yes, ma'am.
What drove that decision, and how did it shape your perspective on leadership and service?
Yeah. So I have the funny story and the real story. The funny story is, I don't know if you guys remember the first Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise in it.
Mhm.
And Emilio Estevez is in the elevator shaft and he's hacking into the place. And I was like, that's what I want to do, and so that's where I went after.
Little
And
Justin.
the Army. Yeah. And the
wanna
Army
do
was
that.
like, yeah, come on in, buddy. We got an elevator with your name on it. That did not happen. But the truth, the reality of it is I come from a very deep military family.
Mhm.
And as I started to learn how the history of African Americans, Black people, enslaved people in this country, and all the programs that were put in place for people to come out of the socioeconomic status from Jim Crow and building it up, the government was absolutely a huge pathway for people to come up and out. My mother grew up in an area that after the steel mills left and they went to China and everywhere else and other overseas, excuse me, that whole economic area went down hard. My father grew up in an area where, it was either the street corner or jail, right? You didn't really do anything. And so both my parents said, hey, in order for me to do better in my life, I need to join the military. And so they both did that, and they were successful today. They're actually at work and they're retired. So while I was growing up, my father was still in the Army. My mother had been she had ETS'd and gotten out of the military, but I saw the example for what they had and what they did. I compared myself to my friends and the kids around me, and I just saw that the trajectory I was on, I could end up being in the same place for 30 years and never leaving. And I would be betting my entire career on this one place that I'm sitting in. And that's a gamble. Luckily, it's a phenomenal place to live, and it's done great. It's gone great economically, but I wasn't really to take that bet. I had to do something for myself. And the most visual pathway for me was the one I had the example of, and it was my parents. So
That's awesome. So I have a Texas-specific question for you
all right.
that I like to ask all of my fellow Texans, and I would love to hear your answer on this. Texas has been run by Republicans for over 30 years, and yet Democrats are the ones that are blamed for high taxes, low education rankings, immigration policies, infrastructure issues, etc., etc.,
etc., etc., etc.
etc. So what would you do to change that perspective and bring more people to support you without wavering on your convictions?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I believe that is exactly what needs to happen. Is we need to stand on our convictions. We need to put our feet, plant our feet firmly on the ground, and say, this is who I am and this is what I'm about. I'm a veteran. I am a gun owner. I am a Texan. I wear my boots and I wear my Air Force Ones, right? Like, I am all things that is Texas. So let's bring that image out so that we know that, hey, it's not a single issue or single vision of this, what Texans are, blue Texans are. At the same time, when we are told to reach out to our big tent and do other things and reach across, those are phenomenal things to do as long as you're staying planted where you are. I think too often the right loves to, they'll build the wall, and that's all they talk about, and they don't go anywhere else but build the wall, even if it doesn't make sense. And Democrats are very much on the, let's think about it, let's have a policy discussion, let's waver, and let's do this. And we are seen as not strong, right? I am a Texan. I believe I am a strong Texan. And I believe if I stand by my values, that'll bring people to know, hey, look, we can do that. The final point of this is we always talk about Ann Richards being the last, Democrat who was over Texas. I think that's great. We love Ann Richards. I think she's a phenomenal person. But I have a personal connection to J.J. Pickle. I don't know if you guys know who J.J. Pickle is. He was a phenomenal Democrat from Texas. And we have a highway named after him, Pickle Parkway. But he was the congressperson over my area when I was 10 years old. And he came and door knocked on my door when I was 10 years old and gave me a little pickle and asked my name. And we talked for like 3 minutes. And I went to school the next day, and I thought that was the most amazing thing that happened to me in my life. JJ Pickle came to my house, and my little friend's like, he went to everybody's house. And he didn't go to everybody's, but he went to my house, right? I think that type of mentality of reaching out to the people is important. We have Republicans who stay up in their ivory towers. They don't work with the people. They're not here with the people. And so Texas needs to be back with the people. And that's what I need to do.
My congressman is Craig Goldman. That man has never held a town hall. Right. He never will hold a town hall. And he works off the 11th floor of the club building in downtown Fort Worth. So yes,
wow, I
get that.
Yeah.
So this last special session that ended for us here, it was kind of like a pretty big gut punch, right? It seems like the Christian nationalists were able to push through everything that they wanted. They got their redistricting, they got their trans bathroom ban bill, they got everything that they wanted. What would you say to those of us who are in the LGBTQ community whose voices have been stifled by redistricting, those of us who are trans women whose healthcare is under attack, and those who really feel unsafe in Texas right now? Of course, remembering to use TikTok safe language.
Of course. And I apologize if I said anything out of TikTok.
Nope.
You know. Okay.
Totally fine. We love the TikTok shop.
Yes. So I hate this answer, but it is the answer. We will make it better. This is not the end. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We need to get the right people. I've met so many candidates running to change things, and you are not alone. There are people out there who understand and are empathetic and know that this is wrong. We don't treat human beings this way. We need to take care of the people, because that's what politics is about. And so in order to communicate that with them, there is going to be a little bit of time before now and the elections and getting things passed. But I do believe on all levels, state Senate, even congressionally, and even our senator who's running in Texas, we are all running with the mindset of we need to make this safer for everyone. No one should be in fear of their lives by their sexuality, their livelihood, their gender identity, any of that. Those things are core to a human being, and we should let you be human without telling you how to be. I grew up a Texan, right? Like I said, and we were the maverick state, and I thought for the longest time that we were going to be the second state to legalize marijuana, because we were that mentality, right? We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to push back against the federal government. Today, we are no longer that identity. We are trying to bring that back. So while I say the answer I don't like, which is we are working and we are going to make it better, this is not the end. Do not hold out hope. Do not lose hope. We are working to make things better for everybody.
I think that that's great. And I know a lot of people have been like, well, this administration is proving that you do in fact mess with Texas and Texas will capitulate.
Not this one.
Yeah, no. I feel like there's a big fight brewing with a lot of people in this state, and I'm here for it. 1,000%.
Yes, ma'am. And honestly, we can go back to the beginning too. That's one of the things I said is like when it's time to flip this and make changes, I want to be front and center on making the change the right direction, because this is not what I stand for. I don't want to wait for somebody to do something for us. I want to make sure we are doing it for ourselves. This is the people versus those at top.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's really important to have really good representation in every aspect of the state that people that care about people, to govern the people, you know.
People. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
All right.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Colin Allred or James Tallarico?
Yeah. I have a relationship with James Tallarico. We live in the same area. We've been to the same meetings. We have the same, I wouldn't say the same, but we communicate with the same people. He is a phenomenal candidate. He's a phenomenal person. And Colin Allred is great. I think he's amazing. But if we were to put the two together, we really need to put our chips behind Talarico, and that's the direction I would go with. I'm not endorsing anybody, but you put me on the
Fair.
spot. And that's
Fair.
what I'll say.
I totally did.
Yeah,
I put your feet on the fire. So,
yeah.
if anybody asks, then that is what I
And I will
did.
say, I also have been communicating with Terry Virts. I was trying to get something started up with him to get veterans involved with voting and understanding why they need to vote blue.
Hmm.
And so I think every candidate builds our democracy to make it stronger. But at the end of the day, I believe that Talarico has the steam and the energy to bring things forward. So
I'm Mr. Tallarico. If you are watching this, the invitation stands open like anytime. I've been trying to get a hold of you, man. So, yeah, just any time that you would like to. LTLV, I will get you. Oh, okay. She goes, that was an accident. No worries. It happens all of the time. So what can you do to encourage inclusivity in Texas without disenfranchising those that see inclusivity as a threat? If you want to avoid disenfranchising those people, I personally,
yeah,
unicorn fist. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
that's
right,
just,
right.
but you're running for office. You might have a different
I
answer
am.
than me.
I am. And you know, I boil it down to everybody has to eat. Everybody has to have a house. Everybody wants health care. Everybody wants a job that they can afford to, go on vacations and do more than just the wage slave, right? We want more
Hmm.
than that. And so a lot of people who feel disenfranchised are upset on one issue or another issue, whatever else. Um, I would say we need to put those differences aside, and we need to come together to make sure we are taking care of the most of us or the least of us, and not giving it to the most of us. We talk about, but people talk about immigrants take our jobs, immigrants take our money, immigrants take our whatever. But we have billionaires who have all the jobs, they have all the money, and we're not being able to change that. And so we're focused on the wrong 1% when we do those kind of things. Another point to this is that I want to really understand why people feel that way in order to, I guess, vote against their best interests or just pull out of the political process in itself. Because as a representative, I need to take that on as well. And I think that's something that people have not been used to hearing, is that they're used to saying, well, if you don't vote for me, I'm not going to deal with you, right? That's not my mentality. I want to know why you don't want to vote. I want to know why you're not, I don't know why you're voting against your own interests, because we see who has the money, we see who has the jobs, we see who's making that. The final point to this is that I believe that lack of choice is a lack of freedom, and we have a billionaire class who has the ability to make any choice in the entire world. And so if we are focusing on the choice of a few versus the choices of the people who have they can do anything they want to in the entire world, and they're trying to do anything they want to in the entire world, we are focusing on the wrong people. We need to make sure we're focusing on those who have prevented our choices, prevented our freedoms, therefore we can work together and do better for all.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great answer. So word on the street is that you worked as a delegate for President Obama's campaign. And I know we're going to stick with current events, but I'm just itching to know what's one experience from your time as a delegate for his campaign that has really stuck with you.
Yeah, I was this was in 2008, right? Well, right, yeah, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Tarrant County, and the area we're in was actually more Parker County than Tarrant County, but I lived in a tiny sliver of Tarrant County that was over in Parker County. And Parker County was a very, very red county, and Tarrant was red as well, but it was very, very red. Mm-hmm. And so we worked together in order to really reach across. And the amount of racism that came out, I've been experiencing racism my entire life. It's nothing new. Shocking, right?
My jaw stayed firmly in place, as Devin likes to say.
But it was brought to a new level for me when that happened. And I think one of the things that I really learned from that was I wish I could go back and talk to these people. They were saying things like, white people were going to be enslaved, and, just all these really just crazy things. And so while communicating with people, even trying to get the message out and talk to, even other delegates, it was just such a divisive time. And then afterwards, people acted like they had amnesia. Oh, that never happened. That wasn't me, And then you get the get out comment. I would have voted for Obama 3 times if I could, right? Knowing goodness well, they were absolutely on the other end in the very beginning. So some of those things kind of really stood out to me. Even if you're trying to do something in the state of Texas, the amount of hate that was received at that time, and then afterwards, now we're like, oh, we loved Obama. He was phenomenal. It was like, I remember what happened right before that happened, and you were not in love.
I don't have amnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy time, man. That was wild. So you've done some other pretty impressive things here. You are a cybersecurity expert?
Oh,
Is that
that's
the
the E
right
word.
term for it? I know, right? So
Yeah. I don't
what
claim
in
to be an expert in anything, but I've been doing it for 20 years, and I've worked many different places that would call me that.
Mhm.
But the number one thing, a wise man knows they know nothing at all. That's how I feel. I'm always learning something every day and doing something every day. But I believe that with my perspective, this is something that's really important for our economy,
Mhm.
for our lifestyle and our livelihood, and for our national security. And unless we have representatives who understand the importance of this, the nuance may be lost. So that's what I hope to bring. But yes, I do that. I have a day job as well. I got done working earlier today, and then I got on this. So
Nice, nice. So you've worked in both the national defense and now you work for a global tech company. What
mhm.
is the common thread in your career path?
Yes. Okay. We can go. I'll tell you. There's a huge lack of communication, and there's a huge lack of understanding, and there needs to be a stronger and stricter rule. There need to be stronger, stricter rules on what happens during cybersecurity incidents and breaches. Because when an attacker does something on one company or one entity or whatever, they're doing it for hundreds of different times. And
Mm-hmm.
because people are embarrassed, the brand is at risk. The money's at risk, so they don't want to share those things that happen. We need to have some sort of pseudo intelligence community on the back end in order to prevent these things from happening, but also to share with the community to say, hey, in order to strengthen, our cybersecurity infrastructure, we need to work together and do it. The final point of this is that we have these things called ISACs, which are just, I can't even give you the acronym right now if I could, but basically they're little technology groups that talk about cybersecurity incidents and things that happen. And so when you work for a banking entity, there's the Fin ISAC. And when I worked for the transportation company BNSF Railway, we had a we had a Berkshire Hathaway ISAC. We also had a transportation ISAC, and all these things that we had these little groups that were doing that, but they still didn't operate within the larger organizations of what happened, because nobody wants to tell, hey, look, my entity got popped. My entity, they took my data. There are rules that you have to tell the consumer that your stuff got out, but the how, the tools, the tactics, the techniques of those things that happen, those are kept within house. And they're like, okay, now this will never happen to me again. You're absolutely right. The attacker is smart enough to know not to do it to you again, but they'll take that exact same, TTPs and go somewhere else and do it,
Yep,
over
do
there.
it to somebody
And
else.
if we had an organization that said, hey, let's organize all this, let's share that information. Right now it's voluntary, and people are afraid to do it because of brand recognition if something happens.
That's fair. That's a really cool answer. Let me ask you, as a cybersecurity guru
There you go. Yeah.
person, how do you feel about Roblox?
Well, my kids played Roblox as little. I don't like that I don't like any company that use manipulation tactics in order to make you buy things and do things like that. So I don't know which direction you want to go with that. I can definitely rail about capitalism, but anyway, I don't like companies that use manipulation tactics in order to get people to do things. But I remember when my kids played Roblox before it was at the size it is now. They loved it, and I don't know. I really don't know much about it other than what's in the news about what they're doing to manipulation tactics and things.
That's fair. That's fair. You and your wife have raised 7 children.
Yes.
I mean, if I was wearing a hat. Oh, the hat's off to you, sir. I am not worthy. What is something in your fatherhood, something that fatherhood has taught you that helps you as a leader?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I hope this equates, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I got my most impactful management job, which was at BNSF Railway, I had a lot of young people, a lot of people, different ages who worked for me. And I recognized that just like my children, everybody has distinct and different personalities. Everybody has different needs, different, values, different, what did he get up out of the morning for? And so I need to understand those things and to make sure they're empowered to do those things they do best in the right places, and also do some cross training and that kind of stuff. And so I took it as a mentality. I told outwardly, I said, I take it like a basketball team. And, I forgot, I did not take it like a basketball team. I took it like my own children, and with my kids, they'd be best friends one minute and then enemies the next. They have little factions, and they would bully each other and beat them up. And so to understand how the interpersonal relations had went with the kids and how they all work together, that really helped me be a good manager. And I've taken that with my whole, all of my leadership roles that I've done, is saying that everybody's an individual and they need to be valued as an individual. And then as a leader, I need to make sure that those people are in the right place at the right time to do the right things. So.
Can you tell me a little bit about your opponent and what you feel like the most egregious thing they've done since they've been in office, and what you would do differently?
Yeah. So I believe my fourth grade social studies teacher that we have a representative government. And I think the most egregious thing is that every 2 years he asks for votes. His name is John Carter. He asks for votes, but then he does not come and represent the people. He just, everything that the Republicans go along with doing, he's right in line. There is no questioning why. There is no, this is the best thing for Texas 31. There is, none of that. And then specifically with the town halls that we're supposed to be doing, or he's supposed to be doing, he does not talk to the people. What he does is he has 20 people gathered, his friends. They will say they're going to talk, or maybe they'll go, I don't know what they do there. And then the next day they said, hey, we had a town hall yesterday. We had some great questions. Here's the question and answers, and I'll see you next time. And so even the people who voted for him are frustrated because they didn't get to see him. They didn't get to question his policies or, why he voted a certain way, regardless if he put anything out or not. But really, he was frustrated at, or people are, oh, what happened?
I think that's
Anyway.
me.
Okay.
Sorry, those little puzzle piece thingy that I had to do. It'll say your live is going to end in 5 minutes if you don't do this puzzle piece thingy. So sorry about that.
Gotcha. Threw me off. But I think the most egregious thing is not being a true representative of the people. I love talking to people. I love understanding what they need and what their needs are. And we have very diverse needs because it's a large area. So the South End down here, where John Carter lives and where I live as well, is vastly different from Bell County, which is only 45 minutes up the road. And there's so many things that we could do to put into Bell County, because the largest military installation in the United States is here in our area. But we're not putting the funds into that area. I always say, if it doesn't make sense to me, somebody's making money off of it somehow. What makes sense to me is they're trying to edge people out, Black and brown communities that are living in these poor areas. They're removing bus services, or they're removing funds for bus services. They're removing funds for grocery stores or at things that of nature. So we have a whole lot of issues that need to be brought back, and our current representative is not looking at the issues that need to be helped or handled.
Yeah, that seems like a common thread with most representatives that have an R next to their name, unfortunately.
Yes.
Not a lot of them that are standing on business. A lot of them that are chewing on leather. Yes. They're complicit. Well, we've got some amazing information here tonight, folks, and we've done some wonderful things to learn about Justin, so thank you so much for coming on. I would like to have you stick around for a few minutes because we're going to switch gears, and I'm going to bring up a fellow content creator who is amazing. You guys know him. You guys love him. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give a nice warm welcome to our friend Oslo. Hey, Oslo!
Hey everyone, how's it going?
I know, sound effects.
I had to take a bow.
Amazing. I know, I didn't realize that button was there. Otherwise, Justin, I would have had you on it. So, yeah, we'll get you an applause later. Hello, Oslo.
Hello there, how's it going, Jess?
Peachy Keen Jelly Bean, how are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
I mean, could be way better, but, All things
It could
considered,
be.
we're doing it. We're pushing through. We're trying to make a difference, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. It's 7:20, folks, and it's time for Activist Alley. And who better to deliver our message tonight than our favorite curious red monster right here? So take it away.
Well, I just wanted to say, because there's so many ways that you can get involved, that we can get involved in activism that really make a difference. Like last time I was on here, a couple times ago I was on here, I was talking about phone banking, volunteering your time, honing those skills that we've crafted and worked on here on TikTok of like powers of persuasion in phone banking. Because you don't have to live, someone like Justin, maybe you don't live in their district, but you can volunteer your time and phone bank for them. So that's one way, there's so many ways that we can get involved in activism. But I wanted to just today briefly highlight one of the unsung importances of activism. Obviously, donating money, resources, time, those are great. But one of the things that activism does that I think not a lot of people talk about is that it shows the people around us that there is resistance to something like this government. Just the action of going out and protesting. People say like, oh yeah, well, you protested on a Saturday. What did you accomplish? I showed the world that not everyone is lying down and taking it.
Yep. You are not
I
alone.
showed the country that I don't agree. And the more voices who say, I also don't agree, that spreads information. And I know, just like visibility is sometimes, the most important part of activism. And you can do that on social media as well. And it feels like, and I know a lot of people say, that's just performative, but it really does make a difference. Don't be precious with your follows. Follow Justin. Follow Jess. Follow politicians running across the country, because their posts will get more views. Share their posts. Repost their posts to your stories. Don't be precious with this thing, social media. Spread the message wide so that other people know they're not alone in feeling this is crazy. Mm-hmm. That's my little activist messages. Literally on your phones, it takes no time. You can just hit that share button. Hit the share button more often so that other people see the message and know that they're not alone in feeling gaslit, for example, by this administration.
I think that that's great. I have another idea for a little civil disobedience too. If I could share it with you guys, I think it's really funny and it's fun, and you might get arrested. You might not though. So on
They can arrest us
our
all.
right, on our favorite site that we all love to hate, the Bezos place. There's a roll of stickers that you can get, 500 stickers that say things like, F Donald Trump, and sometimes you have to flush twice, and there's a picture of him in a toilet, and, tons of hilarious stickers that you can get, and post them. Put them all over your town. Put them all over your town. Put them on parking spaces. Put them on door jams. Put them on fire hydrants. Put them everywhere, because I will tell you, I've been doing this for months. I haven't been. I will deny it if anybody asks me. But I actually saw a video that somebody took of one of my stickers in downtown Fort Worth, and they said, I don't know who put this up here, but thank you so much, because I don't feel so alone. So do that. Civil disobedience, and it's super fun. And, just as you're doing it, you just imagine some very angry red hat person having to scrape that off, and it just brings me so much joy. So
The last thing I'll say, just as I always say, my little slogan that anyone can steal and use and put on protest signs if you want, is the fight for civil rights is not a civil fight. They're coming, if they're coming and they're trying to take away our civil rights and our freedoms, then they're not being civil, and we don't have to be polite and civil in the response. The fight for civil rights is not a civil fight. And lastly, hey, Justin, I run a little series. I haven't had someone new submit in a while, but if you're running for Congress, running for the House, I have a series called Rock the House, where I just give you the stage and let you introduce yourself to my fams low. About 30,000 something followers or whatever. Wherever I'm at, I don't really keep track, but just, I just say, hey, I want to introduce you to my new friend Justin. And then you take it in a selfie style 1-minute video, just introducing yourself and your policies. Okay. And then I just encourage my followers to get involved if they feel comfortable, look you up, see your policies and make sure that their values align with yours. And if they do, get involved.
I would be honored. Thank you.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You should do it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I would be honored. I'll absolutely do that. So thank you.
I'll send you a message with some of the other people so you can see the format and see if there's something you want to do that's different or whatever. We'll talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Oslo. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? You're looking very dapper tonight, my friend. Your fur is just glistening. I'm still waiting for that Beyonce fan, though.
As I always say it's thanks to Garnier Fructis. Call me if you want to sponsor me.
I love it. I love it. It smells so good. Stuff's amazing. Awesome.
Garnier Fructis.
It's great. It's like, hair in the wind.
Flowing,
yes,
right?
Flowing Beyonce moment. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming up. You're amazing.
Love ya. Bye.
Love ya.
Mwah.
Bye. Mwah. Awesome. Okay, so we are getting really close to time here, guys. Thank you again, Oslo. You are amazing. Absolutely my favorite. My daughter absolutely loves you. Just every time she nerds out. Is Oslo gonna be there? Yes, he is. She's 10, so it's great.
That's great.
Before we go, though, can you please give the good folks who've joined us here today a little synopsis on how they can get involved and support you in your campaign, sir?
Absolutely. And number one thing on social media is trying to get my name out there. So, follow me on TikTok. I've got other social medias as well. Everything is at Vote Justin Early. Please check out my website. I'm working on getting more of my policies on there. A lot of things we talked about tonight are not there. And so a lot of the things I'm putting out are really the conversations that I'm having with people or my speeches that I'm doing. And so just understand there are people out there, and I'm one of them who's working really hard. If you want to be so inclined to volunteer, I also, my website, I have a volunteer page. And I wanted to say that, we're here to serve. My family knows service. My mother, my father, my uncle, my cousin, even my children, we've served in the military. And we didn't serve in order for, the world to be this way. I didn't jump out of airplanes for corruption to take over this country. My mother didn't have sleepless nights, and my father didn't deploy for greed to make it harder for their grandchildren. And my children did not join the military for fascism to take over this country. We served because we wanted to make America better. We served to make our families better, and we served to make our neighbors freer. So if you feel that is something that you want to get behind and you understand, I ask for your time, your efforts, your donations, if you're so inclined, because the more that those come, the more I can get the message out to voters, the more we can actually take a change and make a change. So thank you.
Yeah, Naomers, 7 children. Thank you for that, by the way. Naomers like, wait, he has children? He looks like he was 30. No, he's 7 children.
I had them when I was 7, so yeah, when I was 7 years old.
Yeah, that checks out.
And we accrete children. My wife and I, we said we accrete children. They just come to us, so we don't know how it happens.
It's so, just boof. There they are.
Yes.
The stork. Damn stork.
Right.
Just a reminder, everybody, to all of you, it is no secret at all how we feel about big money in politics. We want candidates who are going to serve the people and not special interests, but that money has to come from somewhere. So whether it's your wallet or your time, even following and sharing their content gets more eyes on them and pushes their message across the interwebs. And you can do that for free, folks. Just the time for change is now, and we all have to work together. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes,
Yes.
100%. This is the time.
This
And
is the
honestly,
time.
we may not have more time after this. This may be the last time.
This may be the last time. I'm kind of fingers crossed that karma will visit in the form of a cheeseburger, though. Like, just anything, right? Just fall up the stairs again, only a little harder. Like,
Right.
just something. Anyway, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not send a very special thank you to our amazing mods that are in the chat and the incredible content creators that are here supporting us today. Thank you all so much. And our incredible
Thank you.
design genie, the K-Law. Please follow all of those amazing people, including Mr. Justin Early for Congress in 31st Congressional District of Texas, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Make sure you are registered to vote, people, and keep an eye on your election schedules in your area. I know in some states, like Texas, they are doing some hanky stuff with the voter rolls and your polling locations. So just make sure that you're just not showing up on election day expecting that you will be able to vote. You actually have to participate and make sure that that stays the case before your registration cutoff date. You can check that out by going to vote.gov. To find out all of the information that you need. This was insanely inspiring, and I know we have a lot of folks who are incredibly scared right now, but I want to remind everyone that the fear is the point.
Yes,
Fear
it
leads
is.
to panic. Panic leads to inaction, but hope and community are the antidote for all of it. Okay? Tune in on Monday when we sit down with a Black and Indigenous woman in Oklahoma who's running the most amazing campaign for the U.S. Senate. It's Oklahoma, folks. And musical aside, it's sure to be a doozy. Please follow us on our Substack and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and the two of you. And if I could just make a quick little plea here, most of the shows on the Political Besties Network are brand new, and we would absolutely love it if you would just pop right over to Apple or Spotify or whatever you catch your podcasts on and leave a review. It would really help us get more eyes on our content and be able to help more of these amazing candidates really help right the ship for this country. The dates have been selected for the People's Sick Day, so if you are not part of that Discord, please join thepeoplessickday.com. Do you know about the People's Sick Day, Justin?
I did not. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
The People's Sick Day is a
Oh.
3-day economic blackout.
Okay.
People use their sick time for concerts. They had a little too much to drink the night before.
Mhm.
And this is like a fantastic way for us as a country to say, absolutely not. This is not happening anymore. And it's a 3-day economic and labor strike.
Okay.
So
When
you
is it?
can. We have not announced the dates yet.
Oh,
The dates have
okay.
been chosen, but they will be
Okay.
announced 48 hours prior, and that way people, we can
Gotcha.
take them by surprise.
Absolutely.
The element of surprise. Naomers
it.
has popped the Discord link right there in the comments. So if you want to join that, please go and join that. The numbers are so important. We want to make sure that we have as much support as we can, for that to be successful. So thank you all in the comments for pitching in on that. We absolutely love the TikTok shop, but we need to throw a wrench in this bish. Okay? It's about time, ladies and gentlemen, for TBH. Is there anything else that you wanted to add tonight, Justin?
No, one final message. I like to say vote early for Justin Early. I love that my name can be a play on that, so why not use it? So
I love this. Thank you so much for coming on to the show tonight, ladies and
thank you for
gentlemen.
having me. It was phenomenal.
Justin Early.
Thank you.
I found the sound effects button. Everybody, it's going to be a great night. TBH with Tab and Missy is coming up right about now. Tab, if you are still here, just say hi in the chat so we can get all the people over to your show. If she may not be in here anymore, I'm not sure. But I just want to remind everybody to take care of each other, okay? That's the most important thing. Just take care of each other. And thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much, Justin. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
again soon, okay?
Have a great night. All right.
Thank you.